Hello everyone, this is Alexandra Batres-Blakeley and I'm going to be your host for this podcast called Exploring New Places. This podcast will talk about all the places that one wonders and thinks about going without actually being able to travel due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We will explore new destinations, local, out-of-state and foreign, of where to travel once the pandemic ends. Many of the destinations will be about the places that are often overlooked or not considered because people go to the same usual places that are most popular. Here, we will explore popular and unpopular destinations. You might ask, what exactly are you going to talk about? And to answer that question, I will be talking about the destination's food, culture, activities, restaurants, and people. This podcast is perfect for people that can't travel yet and wishes they could. So I will try to explain everything that one may be interested when visiting the destinations. Let's get right into it. Hi everyone. First of all, I want to thank everyone tuning in today and for the last episodes that are published. It's so nice to see that you are listening to all the episodes. If you're new here, welcome to Exploring New Places podcast, where you'll be creating new memories. And if you haven't not been to our Facebook page yet, which by the way is at Exploring New Places podcast, let me tell you that you may want to follow us there because as of now, that is the only social media platform that we're on, and that's where you'll get all the updates about this podcast regarding episodes, guests, destinations, and more. Anyway, and also good news, if you don't know, we have been picked up by Spotify, Podchaser, and Google Podcast. How exciting. So thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to this podcast and all the episodes that we have right now. I don't want to keep on talking, but I feel like I need to explain a little bit of why it took so long for this new episode to launch. And well, long story short, there were a few technicalities that needed to be addressed, which delayed the process for a new episode. So I apologize for that, but because it's been a while, but now we're back and let's get into this new episode. So this week, we will be going over Key West, that is located in the state of Florida. So let's start talking about this new place. Key West in Florida is known for all the amazing activities that you can do, and it's family friendly. So it's nice. You can take your whole family. For more information, you can go to keywest.com and look at the preferred activities to enjoy with your family and friends. As always, this is not sponsored by anyone just yet. I'm just being nice and letting you know of where you can go to find accurate information on this destination. Okay, so Key West is a destination that is full of history. FloridaKeys.com tells us that Key West is famous and known for the people who shaped the island, which include explorers, entrepreneurs, artists, privateers, smugglers, and military leaders. Florida, or La Florida in Spanish, was discovered by Ponce de Leon in 1513. His crew nicknamed the island of Key West, Florida, Los Mártires, or the Martyrs, because of the thick and twisted mangroves along the shores of these Florida Keys' southernmost islands. European charts and maps listed Key West, Florida as Cayo Hueso in Spanish, or in English, Bone Key, because of the sun-bleached bones found on the island. This is so interesting to learn. I did not know this before. Okay, so let's keep this going. The control of the Keys went back and forth between Spain and England for many, many years until Florida was ceded to the United States in 1819. U.S. businessman John Simonton had purchased the island of Key West. Realizing the potential for its deep water, he divided it into 4 parts, kept one for himself, and sold the other 3 to businessmen Fleming, Whitehead, and Green. These 4 names still live on as Key West street names. How cool. They haven't lost the history of this place. Okay, so for now, that's enough for history, but I hope that you were able to learn something just like I did. And like I mentioned before, there are many activities that you can do. There are family friendly or just to go do with your friends if you're into traveling, of course. The activities that you can do are snorkeling, scuba diving, fishing, kayaking. You can take a dolphin tour. You can go on a cruise and watch the sunset too. You can visit the beaches that they have, the national parks. They have a lot of national parks, which include Fort Jefferson, Fort Zachary Taylor, Historic State Park, Dry Tortugas National Park, and more. Up next, I have a surprise for you listening at home or in your car or wherever you may be listening. Exploring New Places podcast has its very first special guest to talk to us about her experience when she went to Key West in Florida. Please keep in mind that this conversation was recorded prior. So if it sounds a little too different, if it sounds like it's just different, well, they're two different recordings. So you're right. They're two different recordings. So if it doesn't sound different, good. If it sounds different, then there are two different recordings. Okay? Please enjoy. For everyone joining us today, we will have a guest that will be telling us her experience at Key West in the state of Florida. This place, as you may know, is a place full of history, and our guest today will tell us all about it. Welcome, Alexandra Batres-Blakeley. Hi, Alexandra. Welcome to Exploring New Places podcast. Thank you for joining us and making the time to be here today and telling us your experience about Key West in Florida.
Hi, Gabby. Thank you for having me in your show today.
Oh,
I'm excited to talk about this place.
Yeah, me too. Okay,
sorry.
So it's okay. You're nervous. It's okay. Okay, so to begin with, start telling us a little bit about why you decided to go to Key West.
The reason for me to go to Key West was actually for my wedding anniversary last year. My husband and I were looking for places to maybe visit, but it was at the same time really hard because as we all know, it was during the pandemic, everything was shut down, and we have some friends actually down in Florida, and we reached out to them and asked them how the whole situation was out there. And they said the place, it's really pretty, like the state meaning. But it was probably not going to be a good idea because everything was shut down by 9 p.m. and we were not going to have the full experience of Florida. So, yeah, we decided to push the trip maybe a year to see if it was going to work out. And it actually did. And I'm actually really happy that it did.
And okay, so your initial plan was to go to Florida and not going to Key West. How did you find about this place? How did you find out?
How I found out about the place is actually really funny. So last year I was looking for places that we could probably visit for the anniversary. And I was literally just looking at the US map and then on my phone. And then I zoomed in Florida. And I ended up looking the little highway that was going down Florida. And I was like, this place looks interesting. I Googled it and I saw the pictures and it looked magical. And I was like, we have to go to this place.
And how is the weather there?
The weather is really tropical. It's really humid. If you like summer and feeling humid, you're gonna love the place. It's a really nice place to visit. For example, during our visit, there was a really dramatic tropical storm going on, and it was really cool because we left the hotel in our car, and it was really funny because We were expecting probably not seeing anybody out in the street, but everybody was just walking around in sandals in their bathing suits. So it was a really nice, refreshing experience.
And how are the people there? Like, are they very welcoming? Are they very nice, or are they rude?
No, people are really friendly, really welcoming. So we flew from Utah to Miami, right? And we drove from Miami down to Key West. When we were driving down to Key West, we made a stop to this little island called Isla Morada. And I actually happened to have bought a coconut there. It was fresh in the actual fruit, and it was so good. Anyway, the owner she was really, really welcoming. She asked us where we were from, and she told us about things that we could do, and she was a really nice lady. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that you guys had a really great experience there. And what is one of the things or that you found very interesting about this place, or something new that you learned?
Probably the highlight of the trip was visiting the Fort Taylor, also known as the Fort Zachary Taylor. The fort was named after the 12th U.S. president. It was a place that was used, highly used, I will say, during the Civil War, World War I and World War II, and during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The fort became a National Historic Landmark in 1973.
And okay, so and did you learn this while being at Key West, or did you know this before
I
going to this
learned,
place?
honestly, everything that I'm telling you, I learned them when I was there, because we went down there not knowing anything. So
Oh,
everything that I'm sharing with you, it's my personal experience and the things that I got to learn while I was there.
oh, that's nice. So you got to create new memories with
Yeah.
your traveling partner. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
and is there any advice or something that, people you recommend for people to know before going to this place?
Plan ahead. So let's go back again to this Florida trip. So we decided to go to Florida to visit actually some family members of my husband that lived out there. And we also decided to go to Disney, to go to Orlando, SeaWorld, and all these, the theme parks, and right before the night that we were supposed to come back to Utah, we decided, why not go to Key West? We already in Florida, and we looked up for some flights down to Miami, and then we drove down there. And I will say plan ahead, because we did that, and even though the experience was great, it was an expensive idea. Because we didn't plan ahead. Everything cost a little bit more than we anticipated. Um, but if you go on Airbnb or your hotel apps or whatever you find these places to stay, you're gonna find way better deals.
Um, okay. I was gonna ask you something, but I forgot. But in the meantime, in what time of the year did you travel again to this place?
It was during July, so last month. Can I say a fun fact?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, so Key West is actually the southernmost point of the United States, and it's located 90 miles away from Cuba. How crazy is that?
Yes, it is crazy. It's so near by to
Yeah,
Cuba. Oh wow.
it is.
I didn't know
But
that.
even though,
Mhm.
sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so even though you're that close to Cuba, you cannot still see the island, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's a little far away, but wow, it's really close by. And you talked a little bit about Isla Morada. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Or because for people who don't know, we this is our third time recording this, but we did not talk about Isla Morada, and you mentioned a little bit that it's the highway that connects what?
So actually, if your listeners go on their phones and they zoom in into Florida, they're gonna start seeing this little highway just extending down the ocean. And so that highway is the one that takes you down to Key West, which is the last island of the Keys. Yeah, Isla Morada is one of the islands that's on the way down there.
Oh, so Isla Morada is the island, and then Key West is like the city within Isla Morada?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, wow. I learned something new.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that you would want to add?
Yes. To make it an even more fun, memorable experience, you have to go snorkeling. They have reefs, and it's really amazing to actually see them with your own eyes and not on the TV on documentaries. You can see so many fish. Seeing the reef probably was another of the best experience that I've had because I have never done it. And yeah.
Oh, so this is a great place for people that haven't been to Florida, or people that are in Florida and want to go to Key West and didn't know about this place. And is there any restaurant that you want to give a shout out because you loved it so much?
Yeah. So yes, the place is called A&B. It's a steakhouse, but they also have a lot of seafood options. So if you like seafood, honestly, anywhere in Key West is your place. But this place, it was actually really good. The people, the waitress that was working with us on that night that we went, she was really polite. She became actually friends with us. And another thing that I will say that you have to try if you go to Key West, you have to try their famous dessert. It's called key lime pie, and it's really, really good.
And do you know if there's like a specific time period where it's best to travel to this place?
So yeah, during our visit, we've heard that from June to November, it's hurricane season. However, don't don't get alarmed by this. It is actually also happened to be one of the best times to be. So, but honestly, I feel like anywhere in the year will be a good time to go because of the weather of how it is. It's really tropical, so I don't think. Obviously, if you don't want to go during the hurricane season, you're good to go during any other time of the year, and you'll be fine.
It would probably be cheaper if you go during hurricane season. I'm kidding now.
Obviously.
Don't go. Be safe, people. Be safe. I was trying to be funny. Okay, then thank you so much for being here today, Alexandra. We appreciate you sharing your experience about Key West in Florida. And I hope you tune in when more episodes come out.
Yeah, our next episode should be about Dry Tortugas National Park. I have some pretty interesting things to say about this place too.
Oh, okay. Then we can arrange a future episode about Dry Tortugas National Park. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, so thank you, Alexandra, for joining us and for wanting to be part of this week's episode. We very much appreciate it. And now it's time for the fun facts. How exciting. I love this part of the podcast. It's my favorite, I think. It's my favorite part of the podcast. Okay, so fun fact number 1, Key West industries and factories at the time that, the settlers or like everyone was coming in, included salt manufacturing, fishing, sponging, cigar making, and trade, and turtle hunting. Salvaging also became a big part of the industry due to the treacherous offshore reefs. So that's interesting to learn so that you get more of an idea how in 1815 or 1819, how people were hustling at the time. Now, fun fact number 2, trolleytours.com lets us know that Key West is actually closer to Cuba than Miami. Key West is 90 miles to Cuba, but to get to Key West from Miami, it's a 150-mile drive down the overseas highway. So that's interesting, 90 miles to Cuba. And as Alexandra mentioned, you cannot see the island from Key West. So if you're wondering that and you didn't get that when she was talking, just FYI. And fun fact number 3, before giving our fun fact number 3, again, I want to give a shout out to Trolley Tours because they are giving us these 2 fun facts. And again, this is not sponsored, but it's nice. It's nice to know things. So thank you for the fun facts. Now, did you know that Key West was home to Ernest Hemingway and many other famous writers? How interesting. And with this interesting educational fun facts, we have reached the end of today's episode of Exploring New Places podcast. I hope that you learned something interesting and fun facts about Key West in Florida as a new destination to go and explore to create new memories. I invite you to leave a comment with the beach emoji on our Facebook page, which is at Exploring New Places podcast. This tells us that you are considering going to this beautiful destination. Also, don't forget to let us know what country or states you would want to explore, listen, and learn more about. Stay tuned for our next episode in which we will be going over a new destination that should not be overlooked by you. Thank you for your time.